Chapter 14. Monkey Show Business. Amelia Bedelia's father called the zoo immediately to let them know that their last monkey had been found. Her mother and Mrs. Shaw kept the other kids back while Amelia Bedelia baby-stepped toward it, banana in hand. "He's happy as long as he's eating bananas," said Amelia Bedelia. Her mother raced to the kitchen and brought back every banana that they had. In minutes, a team from the zoo rushed into the driveway carrying nets and a travel crate. When they saw their monkey in the car seat happily munching on a banana, they relaxed a bit. The television news team arrived soon after that, and then the director of the city zoo. Amelia Bedelia posed with both monkeys, the real one and the one from the gift shop. Then she handed a banana to the real monkey, and everyone saw how he peeled it. The news team interviewed Amelia Bedelia and her friends, filmed their pets, and toured the exhibits. A reporter interviewed the zoo director about the backyard zoo and Mrs. Shaw all about the great things her students had done. "I love these bee and animal exhibits," said the director. "This is just what our zoo needs." He invited Mrs. Shaw and the whole class to the zoo to talk about their ideas. Mrs. Shaw turned to Amelia Bedelia. "Here is the person with the big imagination," she said. "Congratulations, Amelia Bedelia. I will have to eat crow." "Please don't," said Amelia Bedelia. "I'd rather have a crow in my zoo than in your stomach." Okay, that doesn't really mean like eat a crow. I think that's an old saying, and you probably don't know that it means that kind of the same along the lines as like I'll eat my words, like I was wrong. That's pretty much what she's saying. Finally, it was time to take the monkey back to the zoo. Amelia Bedelia sat down beside him and gave him one last banana. He peeled it in a flash, but instead of gobbling it down, he offered it to her. "Thanks," she said, "for everything." She patted him on top of his head. It felt warm, and his hair was wiry, not like her toy monkey at all. "Good night, little monkey," she said. Beep, beep. And this is going to be the last chapter, chapter 15, Grim and Barrett. Amelia Bedelia couldn't believe it. She had returned a missing monkey to the real zoo. She had created with all of her friends a great backyard zoo, and her teacher had actually liked it. But now it was all over. As people began leaving, Roger came up to her. "Georgie's almost defrosted," he said. "Can we have a funeral now?" "Sure," said Amelia Bedelia. "You can take him home." "Can we bury him in your backyard?" said Roger. "Georgie seems to like it here." Amelia Bedelia understood. She got a trowel from the garage and dug a good-sized hole so that what was left of the block of ice would fit, next to an azalea bush. "We'll put a mound of dirt on top and plant some flowers," she said. Roger nodded. "Amelia Bedelia," he said, "would you please say a few words about Georgie?" Amelia Bedelia did not expect that. Georgie had not been her pet. But then she thought, why not? After learning about animals, thinking like a monkey, and building a zoo, Amelia Bedelia was pretty qualified. The only thing that bothered her was that after all the fun they had had, now they had to have a funeral. But Roger was her friend. She shrugged and said what her grandmother had always said. "Ah, well, that's life." Everyone who was still in Amelia Bedelia's backyard, kids and parents and pets, gathered around. Amelia Bedelia cleared her throat and began. Roger's pet gecko, Georgie, came from Madagascar. It's a big island next to Africa, so Georgie was very far away from home when he passed away. He was little, but he was amazing. He was colorful and a complicated animal. Roger really loved him, and when he died, Roger kept Georgie in a cold, dark place until he could give him the funeral that he deserved. But first, Georgie spent today teaching kids about animals, and now he's ready to rest. I'll plant forget-me-not flowers on top of you, because none of us will ever forget you, Georgie. Amelia Bedelia turned to Roger, who was holding the block of ice. Then Roger did another thing that Amelia Bedelia had not expected. He gave Georgie a kiss. No one looked away or squirmed or thought, "Ew, he just kissed a dead lizard." Nope, this was the last kiss goodbye. Goodbye and thank you. Goodbye forever, my friend. Some kids began to sniffle. Some grown-up eyes glistened. Even people who had never had a pet were moved by what Amelia Bedelia had said. What was true for Georgie was true for all animals, that they were all amazing miracles just like Georgie had been. There was nothing left to say, but no one felt like leaving either. Everybody just wanted to stay right there next to each other. Amelia Bedelia's mother gave her a hug. "Nice job, sweetie. I'm going to go get some snacks. Your friends can hang out here until the cows come home." Moo! A truck was backing into the driveway. The sides were painted with fruits and vegetables, and a sign said, "Uncle Fred's Farm." "Moo!" A cow gazed at them. Amelia Bedelia's father ran up to her and loudly whispered, "I thought you were kidding about canceling the cow." "I was," said Amelia Bedelia. "I didn't order a cow." Wade's Uncle Fred got out of the truck and introduced himself. "Just stopped by to pick up my nephew and my sheep," he said. "I can loan you Gertrude here if you'd like to have a cow." "That won't be necessary," said Amelia Bedelia's mother. "My husband has had a cow every day this week." Uncle Fred chuckled. Amelia Bedelia had no idea what she meant. She figured that her father's cows must be with his goat. So if you have a cow, just so you know, it means like you have a little fit. As Uncle Fred loaded the sheep into his truck, Amelia Bedelia's father said, "I miss that fuzzy lawnmower. Now I have to mow the grass again." That night after supper, Amelia Bedelia and her parents sat outside in the patio with Finally, who smelled a little bit like skunk. Looking over their backyard, they recalled all the fun and excitement of the zoo and the days leading up to it. Amelia Bedelia asked her mother, "I just have one question. Why is there a banana on your windowsill?" Amelia Bedelia laughed. She laughed so hard that she could not stop. Soon her parents were laughing too. "That was a wild time," said Amelia Bedelia's father. "I already miss it," said her mom. "You do?" asked Amelia Bedelia. "Me too," said her dad. "I told the director how you didn't get to go on that field trip to the zoo. We're meeting him tomorrow morning, and he's taking the three of us on a VIP tour." Amelia Bedelia jumped up and yelled, "Thank you, Daddy! Family hug!" It was their wildest family hug ever. And then she wrote a bunch of things about animals in here. I'll read them to you. It says squirrel monkeys. Squirrel monkeys live in the rainforests of Central America and South America. They live in the canopy of the forest. That means the tops of trees. They mostly eat insects and fruits, like bananas. Ball pythons. Ball pythons are from Africa. They don't have any venom. These snakes fold into a ball shape when they think something's going to attack them. You can roll a ball python. They eat mice. Hawks. Hawks are birds of prey. That means they eat other animals and birds. There are all kinds of hawks: red-tailed hawks, sharp-skinned hawks, shinned hawks, sparrow hawks, and more. They have really good eyesight. Do you remember seeing a hawk when we had the bird presentation earlier this year? There was a red-tailed hawk in there. There are field mice. There are field mice and house mice, and they are all so cute. Mice are rodents. They can be really great pets. Sheep. A boy sheep is a ram, and a girl sheep is a ewe, which is spelled E-W-E. And a baby sheep is called a lamb. A sheep's hair is called wool, and people use it to make clothes. Sheep live almost all over the world and appear in stories and tales and rhymes such as Ba Ba, black sheep. Skunks. Did you know that skunks are also called polecats? Their spray is super stinky, and they spray when they sense danger nearby, like a dog or a bear. Baby skunks are called kits. Gold dust day geckos. These lizards are from Madagascar. They eat insects and also drink nectar from plants and flowers. If their tails fall off, they can grow new ones. That's pretty cool, huh? And then 2 ways to say it. So you know some of these sayings. I'm sick as a dog. That means I'm really, really sick. That's a pie in the sky idea. That means it's a great idea, but it probably won't happen. Your head is in the clouds. That means you're so busy daydreaming that you don't know what's going on. His sweater is covered with dust bunnies. That means his sweater is covered with fluffy bits of dust. You look sheepish. That means you look a little bit embarrassed. Are you trying to get my goat? That means, are you trying to upset me? That's the end of the book. You guys have been great listeners. I have a few other things that I will be posting. It might be today, it might be tomorrow, but definitely for next week, just to wind us up and to have you listening to some smaller picture books. So they won't be chapter books like this. They'll be standalone books. Okay? So look for those.